There's a place on Earth that has turned away outsiders for thousands of years. North Sentinel Island, part of India, home to the Sentinelese. Their isolation is protected by law. We don't land there. We don't intrude. When we told their story, you didn't just start a conversation. You started an investigation. You asked thousands of questions, big ones, the ones still unanswered. This video is the answer. We've compiled your biggest questions from surviving storms to the real risks of contact, and we'll give clear, evidence-backed replies. The original documentary is linked below if you want deeper context. But for this, you're fully caught up. Now, let's uncover the truth. Do the Sentinelese have a legal right to be left alone? Or is that just politics? It's law, not vibes. India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Regulation 1956 makes North Sentinel a reserved area, criminalizes approaching landing, and is enforced with a legally defined exclusion buffer under an eyes-on, hands-off policy by the Coast Guard Navy. The stance is also reinforced by international norms like UN DRIP, self-determination. Practically, authorities treat the Sentinelese defending their shores as territorial self-defense, not a crime, especially given the historic disease risks from contact. Could a simple cold really kill them? Don't they have diseases too? Yes, because of new germs. They'll have their own local microbes, but they lack acquired immunity to many outside respiratory viruses, measles, flu-like. In tiny, unmedicated populations, one simple cold can trigger runaway outbreaks. That's exactly what destroyed neighboring Andamanese groups after 19th, 20th century contacts, which is why today's no-contact policy exists. Can gifts like coconuts carry dangerous germs to them? Yes, even clean gifts can carry viruses and bacteria on their surfaces, fomites, and a tiny unexposed community can't fight those new germs. That's why past gift drops, even coconuts, were halted, and today's rule is no contact, no gifts, no landing. If you care about them, don't deliver anything. Distance is the protection. If someone shipwrecks there, why do the islanders get away with killing? Because you wouldn't be a visitor. You'd be an illegal intruder in a no-entry zone. India's law reserves that shoreline for the Sentinelese. Landing there is a crime. They defend their home, and authorities treat that as territorial self-defense, not murder. After past incidents, the state prioritized preventing further contact and disease over prosecutions or body recovery. The only safe rule for them and you is don't land. Is this a double standard? Why respect their border but not others? No, it isn't a double standard, and here's why. You're comparing normal borders to a biosecurity cordon around a tiny community with no immunity and a clear no-contact choice. This line exists to prevent disease and cultural collapse, not to control migration or politics. Legally and ethically, it's a narrow, life-saving exception based on health and consent, so we respect this border differently. How do they avoid inbreeding in such a small population? Small, doomed. They've likely had some gene flow in the past before strict isolation, and over long time spans, harmful recessive genes get purged in small populations. We don't have their DNA, but repeated observations show a healthy reproducing group, lots of kids and pregnant women. In population genetics terms, they're near the minimum viable band. Not risk-free, but not automatically inbred to collapse. How do they keep food from running out? What sustains them? They match a small population to a renewing food web. They fish the shallow reef, poles, bows, spears, hunt wild boar in the forest, and gather fruit, tubers, and honey. No farms, just seasonal rotation and deep local knowledge. Their narrow outrigger canoes keep them inside the lagoon where the reef is productive, and they move between beach camps and forest huts so they don't strip one spot bare. Right size, right habits. Are they cannibals? No. There's zero credible evidence they practice cannibalism. That trope is a colonial smear used on resisting groups. After past deaths, like the 2006 poachers, officials found no sign of cannibalism. What you're seeing is defense of their shore, not dinner. How long have they been there? When did their ancestors arrive? Tens of thousands of years. Their ancestors were part of the early coastal migrations out of Africa and into Southeast Asia, then into the Andamans. Different lines of evidence give different ranges, but the best supported window is 24,000 to 40,000 years in the islands. Precise dates for North Sentinel itself aren't knowable without contact. Where does the 24,000 years figure come from? What's the evidence? It's a shorthand from science, not a literal timestamp on that beach. Genetic studies of related Andamanese tribes estimate their ancestors split from mainland populations 24,000 years ago, often given as a wider 25 to 40K range. Archaeology and sea level history then explain how early coastal peoples could reach the Andamans. So, 24,000 years equals ancestral divergence settlement window, not the Sentinelese have lived on North Sentinel continuously for exactly 24,000 years. Why bows and arrows? How common is archery across humans? Because it works, and humans everywhere discovered that. Archery is a near-universal tool that different cultures invented independently. It's quiet, accurate, reusable, and lets small groups defend space or hunt at a distance. On North Sentinel, bows fit the terrain, reef fishing from canoes and shoreline defense. They also repurpose iron from shipwrecks for tougher arrowheads. Old idea, smart materials. Why don't they farm, e.g. coconuts? Hunter-gatherer versus agriculture. Their system fits the island better than farming. Ecology. Thin, salty soils, cyclones, and a small land area make fields fragile. The reef is a year-round pantry, fish, shellfish, backed by forest fruit, tubers, honey, and boar. Strategy. As mobile hunter-gatherers, they spread out effort and don't risk a single failed crop. No fences, no irrigation, just flexible foraging tuned to seasons. From a distance, we see no fields. We do see reef fishing, hunting, gathering, and beach forest camps. Coconuts can grow wild or drift in, but plantations would mean clearing forest. Not worth it for a small group that already eats well. So no, it's not lack of progress, it's a smart match of lifestyle to place. If they can build canoes, why not boats for open sea? Because their boats are built for the reef, not the ocean, on purpose. They use narrow outrigger canoes pushed with long poles in shallow, calm lagoon water. Those craft don't handle surf, swells, or long crossings. No keel, no sail, not designed to clear the reef line. And they don't need to. The island's forest plus reef already supply food, and staying inside their waters maintains isolation and safety. How do they make or keep fire? Do they fire keep? Yes, they use fire. From distant observations, we see hearths and live embers in huts. Because no one's witnessed them spark it from scratch, the best read is fire keeping. They guard and transport embers to relight new hearths, likely from a natural start, e.g. lightning. Bottom line, fire is constant, ignition method unknown. No contact needed to prove it. Is there gold oil there? What about the gold Tiara claim? No. North Sentinel is a coral island, not geology for gold or oil, and there's no evidence of valuable deposits. The gold Tiara story is apocryphal, likely a rumor or a mix-up with scavenged yellow-colored metal. What they actually repurpose from wrecks is iron for arrow and spear tips.